Hi Vicky, how are you?
Hi, Charlie.
Welcome to Unfiltered Lives, the other side. Thank you for doing the interview. How you doing?
All right. I'm doing very well, thank you.
Excellent. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm in a good place.
Are you?
Yeah.
What are you doing with yourself then?
I volunteer on a helpline. I'm a telephone responder.
Wow.
And also, I'm tail of Dermot Cleveland, telephone liaison officer.
Wow.
So I've come a long way in the last 5 years.
Vicky, where did it start? Tell us a little bit about your childhood.
Well, when I was about 5, I remember being bullied. So I got through school as being the class clown. I left school with no qualifications. On a dinner time, going to other kids' houses, they'd be like, "What sandwich do you want?" And I'd be like, "Where's your mum keep her liquor?"
At what age?
12.
12.
I had my first joint when I was 11, and I just felt totally euphoric. And I thought, this is how I want to live my life.
And that was at 11 and 12-year-old already?
11,
deciding that you wanted
12 acid.
12 acid?
Yeah. 13, 14 speed. By the time I was 14, I was running away. And I was leaving my mum letters under the kettle. But I was going down to Filey and drug dealing. From 14.
Who did you know man in Filey?
My brother lived there.
Oh, right.
My brother lived there, so...
How many brothers and sisters have
My sister passed away last year.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
It's all right. It's a memorial on the 14th, 2 days after my birthday. My birthday in 2 days.
Is it really?
Yeah.
What did you do about school then?
I left school with no qualifications.
You just left?
Yeah. I just left when I was 14. And I'd go in and they'd say, "Oh, nice to grace your presence, Vicky," now and again. Do you know what I mean? And I'd just, every 4 weeks, I'd be off.
What about boyfriends or
I had boyfriends,
relationships,
relationships, and I fell pregnant when I was 16.
Right.
And I stopped taking drugs and drinking throughout my pregnancy, and I had a healthy boy. And then when he was 7 months, came home from shopping one day, and his dad was injecting in the bathroom. So
injecting heroin or?
I don't know whether it was heroin or speed, but he was injecting in the bathroom, so he had to go. So I was a single parent from 17.
So what happened next then? So from 17 to...
17, 18, I went back to college for a little bit, but I carried on drinking.
And what did you study at college?
I studied childcare and education.
Oh, really? Did you?
Yeah, MBQ. But I never got through that because I signed the papers. Well, I shouldn't have. I should have left it to the tutor to sign them, and I had 2 signatures to get the whole qualification, and I signed them myself. So I didn't get it.
So you never even got your qualification?
So I never got my qualification at the end of it, no.
And did you really enjoy that? Like,
I loved it. I loved working with, it was like working with preschool and not to 6 years.
So was your life, I'm trying to get a picture of your life. So was your life chaotic then from like 11, 12, or did you have times where it was
chaotic?
Just pure chaos?
Pure chaos. I was getting arrested left, right and centre.
And what would that be for then?
Drunk and disorderly, drugs charges, where I was got a caution, and then Farley police said, "We'll deal with you down Teesside." There was a car chase at one time, and I was in a sort of stolen car, and I didn't realise it. Happy John, this lad, he just said, "Oh, get in the car. It's all right, we'll go try and sell it in Leeds." And I was like, shit. And we come back about 2 o'clock in the morning, and there was just police cars from every direction, vans and the Goros. And Teesside police said that they were me. And that was it, really.
And did you ever go to prison?
No, I never went to prison. No.
So you've lived this chaotic life from 11, 12, straight up to your 20s.
Yeah.
So just in case it's a wee snapshot of what that chaos consisted of, what was that like? Just
taking drugs, anything I could get in my mouth, really. And then alcohol. Alcohol was my poison.
It was alcohol the poison?
Yeah. By the time I was 21, I was a fully functioning alcoholic.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
and
I
how
was
old are you
holding
now?
down jobs. I'm 48, nearly,
48 now.
in 2 days.
And how long have you been sober then?
5 years.
5 years?
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I came into recovery when I was 42.
So from 11 to 42.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I did have a period of sobriety in 2010 because I had a nervous breakdown, but I'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
Being 21, I got into a relationship with this man and he beat me to a pulp because England lost the World Cup in 98. And it was just domestic violence after domestic violence. And I stayed with him because he provided the alcohol, he had the money. He worked away, you see, 6 months of the year. So I moved in with him. We got engaged. We got, my son, he moved in with us. And then one time we said, it's your son's fault. This is why we argue all the time. This is why I hit you. I'm going to hit your son. So he came in, I had 3 bottles of wine, and I was waiting for him to get in. I'd cooked salmon and everything. Didn't turn up. So, and he said, I'm gonna come and I'm gonna hit your son. So I swung at the top of the stairs with all my might. I'm running little. I swung and I kicked him down some stairs, and he went flying. I knocked him clean out, and I grabbed my son in a taxi, took him, never looked back. So my son, and then when I was 26, I married somebody who was in the army, and I married him just to people please, really, because my dad was dying of cancer, and me and my mum were nursing him. So within like 4 weeks, my dad had missed walking me down the aisle because we brought the wedding forward. He missed my wedding by 3 weeks.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Then I moved to a foreign country, and then he was shipped off to Iraqi's battalion, but he didn't go because I said it was dangerous, don't go and all that. So he didn't go. He ended up being sergeant, and I got all the backlash off the army. Why isn't your husband going and all this? And I worked in the school, and I was working 1-to-1 with the Down syndrome little girl, and I got her to walk. So that was like an achievement, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was fully functioning alcoholic. By the time 1 o'clock came, I was off to the naffy to get all my 16 cans of lager and 3 bottles of wine a day I was going through.
That's 16 cans of lager and 3 bottles of wine each
Carlsberg.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carlsberg lager. And 3 bottles of wine a day. And my son had come in from school.
Did you know that you had the problem then?
I knew I was fully functioning by the time I was 21. My dad had already had me at services when I was 14.
Was you been in services since you were 14?
Yeah, drug and alcohol. And medical detoxes after medical detoxes. And then when I was in Germany, I decided to get a medical detox. So I went to the doctor and they gave me some Librium. And I had that for 4 days. Seeing chipmunks coming up the curtains and that. And then I was on a Camprosate and antabuse.
Yeah, I know them.
Well, I was looking about at everyone drinking about 6 weeks later, and I was like, why can they drink and not me? Do you know what I mean? Really pissing me off. So I thought, I'm not ready for this recovery lark. So I ended up, you have to wait, don't you, 7 days before you can drink.
Before you can drink again with antabuse,
Well, it had got the 4th day, and I thought, I'll be all right. So I had 4 cans of lager. And then I thought, I'm all right, feel all right. I'm going to have a bottle of red wine. And I never drank red wine. And I had the bottle of red wine start going red from my toes. And it was meeting. And it got to about there, meeting. And I was red all over and swelling. And I was like, my throat was finding it hard to breathe. So I phoned the hospital and they couldn't understand me because I couldn't speak German, really, just a little bit. And then I just had interviews, and then the blue light of me went over the hospital, and I was in the drip in each arm, 6 hours.
In Germany?
Yeah. No, I didn't want a anaphylactic shock, I was told. I nearly died. And I woke up, my husband was sat beside me, he'd been, army function, and my son was away with the cadets for the night. So, and he was only 11, 12-year-old.
So how old were you then? In your late 20s, maybe?
No, he was less than that. He was about 11, and I did him when I was 16, so...
27.
27, yeah. And I came back from Germany, and then I fell pregnant, and I drank throughout the pregnancy. I didn't take drugs, but I drank. And they had me on, prescribed doses of wine every other day, so I wouldn't go into DTs. And she was born healthy. She didn't have fetal alcohol syndrome, bless her. She was only about 5 pound 10, 5 pound 11. She was a wee dot. But she was all right, and I was very, very lucky. Social services come round, and I thought if they developed me then, things might have turned out all right, do you know what I mean?
So social services were involved?
Yeah,
they couldn't help you?
No, they came round to see she was healthy and they left.
Oh, did they?
That's it. And then in 2010, February, I had a complete nervous breakdown. And I had to go in Rosebery Park for 6.5 weeks. And then they diagnosed me as having schizoaffective disorder, BPD, borderline personality disorder, PTSD, and depression and anxiety. And I couldn't go outside. Petrified of going outside. The open air, as soon as the air hit me, the anxiety inside me was just...
How old were you then?
I was 34.
34.
34. And then I went 8 years sober.
You went 8 years sober?
8 years sober, and I picked up in 2018.
So you've had all that chaotic life. Since 11, the most chaotic life I've ever heard of in my life.
Yeah.
You've had this story. And then you've got sober. You've had 2 beautiful, healthy kids in the midst of all this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nearly died in Germany.
Yeah.
Came back. You've had a terrible assault on you.
Yeah.
And then somehow you've managed to get 8 years clean and sober.
Yeah, without any services or with any help. I just went to the doctors. I felt euphoric.
How the did you do that?
I don't know. I went to the doctors and I said, "Will you help me with the medical detox?" And he said yes. And I'll be forever grateful to that doctor. Because it was in a good practice in Stockton. And then I stayed sober, and it was just me and my husband were like passing chips in the night, and we ended up getting divorced in 2018, and I left in 2018, something like that. I was 2016, and I picked up in 2018 crack and alcohol.
Crack and alcohol?
Yeah, but it was just straight to the vodka within 1 week.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Just straight to the vodka?
Yeah, fuck the wine, just straight to the vodka.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him he had like 7 bottles of mixed spirits underneath in a cupboard. And I'd just take a swig out of every one when he went to work every morning, and by 9:30 I was on the crack.
Smoking crack?
Yeah.
How did you end up on crack?
I don't know, it was the neighbours. I'm very easily led, so I thought, you know what I mean?
So you had 8 years clean and sober, then you went on the vodka, and then you've ended up with crack cocaine.
Yeah.
How long were you on that for?
A year.
About a year?
Yeah.
You've done fantastic to get off that.
Yeah. And then I stopped myself, I went cold turkey. Every little white bit on the floor was like that, it's a bit of crack, and smoke it.
Yeah.
Just fluff. You know what I mean? And the DTs were terrible. I was shaking, anxiety, sweating, feeling sick. But I got through it. And that was in 2019. Then I started going to these groups. And I found sobriety. And I was like...
How long have you been sober for now?
5 years. 5 years in July 19th.
Tell me, I need to know, what is life like now, Amanda, for you? Because
Brilliant.
your story just blew my mind.
Fantastic.
What's your life been like now? Please tell me.
I'm in love. I used to hate myself. I used to look in the mirror and think you're a failure and everything. Still do have days when I think I'm a failure. Everybody does. Everybody has bad days and that. But I have the greatest life now.
Tell me what.
I've got my family back.
Have you really?
Yeah. I ended up, back in 2019, I ended up homeless. And I was in this horrible B&B. And my mum was crying after seeing me in there after 3 days, and she said, "Come home with me." And I waited 6 weeks. I got a flat. And I got a flat in Queen Street, bit bad street in Redcar, but it was all right. I kept myself to myself. I was there 8 months. And then I got a flat in Oak Road, and I love it. Right by the sea.
Really?
Yeah. I got myself a cat.
You've got yourself a cat?
Yeah,
Charlie. You've got yourself a place by the sea. You've got yourself a place by the sea. You've got your kids back in your life.
My life.
You're in love.
Yeah.
You've been sober for 5 years.
Yeah.
You do the telephone, you volunteer in the telephone service, and don't you?
Yeah.
Loving heck.
I'm on a lot of medication still.
Yeah.
But I'm stable. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's what medication's for, isn't it? My medication is there to be used to keep us how we need to be, man. Isn't it? That's what medication's for.
I think a lot of it was masked by, I think I'd always had these mental health problems, and then it was just masked by the alcohol and the drugs, and I was self-medicating. But it felt like I had a hole in my soul, but now it's full. I don't feel like I've got a hole in my soul anymore.
What does your mental health look like today? A
lot better than what it was, because I'd say I was agoraphobic. I couldn't go out at all. And then I'd go out gradually. And the nurses in Rugby Park were fantastic. I can go out now. I don't feel anxious. I feel confident in myself, so I can go out, and as long as I know where I'm going, I'm all right. On a new route, somebody will go with me, or my mum will go with me. And then, because my mum's my carer, and she comes once a week. We make meals together, put them in the freezer, stuff like that.
That's beautiful. You know, I've not known you for long. I've seen you every now and again. And you know, when I see you, man, and I'm in groups, and you always shine the room up every time I see you. And to think that you've had this story since you've been living, this chaos, this whatever, this story, it belongs to you. It's absolutely tremendous to see where you are now. Honestly, it was like, you know,
I've written a book when I was high on weight.
Really?
And I called it Me, because it was all about me.
Yeah.
But now,
this is about you, isn't it?
Yeah. This is about me, recovery.
What would you say? What would you say anybody who's in your situation, or what would you say to your past self? What would you say to her now?
Say, get up and fight for it. Because it's there, it's possible. You can be loved, and do you know what I mean? You wanted, needed, loved. Done the 12 steps. 12.
Get up and fight for it. Honestly, you're an absolute inspiration. An absolute inspiration. I don't know what to say. I'm absolutely awe-inspired by this interview. There's no many people that take my breath away, and there's no many people that can get this Scotsman to shut up. But you certainly have. Vicky, thank you ever so much for sharing what you've shared. I would love you to come back on again in the future, because there is stories under that storage, you know. I feel with you, we've just skirted round stuff, and I think it's one of those analogies where we'll be on the beach and we'll lift up a stone and there'll be something else under there. There'll be like another talk that you can do.
Definitely,
but honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for sharing what you have shared, and just fight for it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Sure. Wow.